Joining us now is Abdullah Al-Arian, Assistant Professor of History at the School of Foreign Service at Georgetown University here in Doha. Thank you very much for coming in, Abdullah. So Alaa Abdel-Fatah is one of thousands currently languishing in jail in Egypt, awaiting trial. Is the judiciary in Egypt today an independent body, as the government claims? Can it be trusted to give these people a fair trial?
Well, I think the evidence shows that it couldn't be trusted for the entire 3 years since the revolution began in 2011. The judiciary has been a consistent source of an attempt to stop any attempts at real change and real reforms within the kind of revolutionary demands that were made going back to 2011. And of course, it's only been increasingly playing that role since the 2013 coup.
Right. But the government, give Mubarak's trial as proof of the integrity and the independence of the judiciary in Egypt, saying that Mubarak was handed out a life sentence, which has been able to appeal.
Well, I think if we actually look at the conduct of the Mubarak trial, if anything, we've seen that he's been let free and he's been allowed to kind of resume at least some kind of a free life, considering what we've seen in terms of the way that activists have been treated. That there's nothing that points to any kind of a real justice process taking place within Egyptian courts. If we've seen the politicization of the trials against media, the trials against youth, the trials against many activists, the Muslim Brotherhood leadership, of course, a lot of these trumped-up charges. There's been almost no evidence demonstrated in any of these cases. It's been far more of an attempt by the military through the courts to try and silence any and all dissent, to try to avoid any kind of return to a revolutionary process within Egypt, to try to instill a culture of fear within the society.
Right. The next trial date for our journalists, our 3 journalists who are also in Egypt, in jail in Egypt right now, is due on Monday. A few days ago, the interim president, Adel Mansour, said that he would do his utmost to have them freed. Does he have that power today?
Well, I think that the military and this coup government that's been in power, of course, has that power, that they certainly are politicizing the judicial process. And of course, should they make the decision finally to release these journalists and many of the other political prisoners that exist within Egypt, we've heard numbers of upwards of 21,000 prisoners right now who are all there for political reasons, not because they've actually broken any real laws. That this government, of course, has made a very calculated decision to detain these people, to send a message to the media, to send a message to the activists that exist within Egypt that are still trying to bring about some kind of revolutionary change there.
So they've sent the message. So what are they waiting for to have them released? I mean, does this all hinge, you think, on Sisi announcing his candidacy for the presidency, or is there a timeline that we're looking at, perhaps?
Well, I think if you trace the events going back to last July, that the military government has been attempting to try to solidify itself, establish itself as a legitimate government in opposition to what was there before in terms of a revolutionary process that eventually was overtaken by the Muslim Brotherhood. That has failed to actually take effect. And so I think there's a certain level of desperation on the part of the government at this stage in which, because it continues to face mounting opposition, in fact, that opposition, especially if you look at student movements and the kind of resistance that's been there, if you look at international media coverage, has only sought to place further doubts on the idea that there could be a stable Sisi presidency that's going to stabilize the security situation and the economic situation, which of course is in dire straits in Egypt. And until the government feels that could happen and that Sisi's presidency could go off without a hitch, I think until then we're likely to see even more repression, more reports of torture, more widespread detentions.
All right. Thank you very much, Abdullah Al-Arian, giving us some light there on the situation in Egypt. Thank you very much.